Good to see everybody out. It's about that time to go ahead and get started into our class. I was going to try to stay up there, but you can PowerPoint out of the screen, knowing what's on the slide helps a lot instead of having to turn around and look. So I decided to go back up here. But anyways, we're still in chapter 1, lesson 1. A few more questions to get through there, and then we'll move along and get to the next chapter. So, before we start off, we'll go ahead and say a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, most wonderful God, we come to you. We thank you, dear Lord, for all the blessings you've given to us. We thank you for blessing us with life on this day, and blessing us the years that we've spent on this earth. Lord, we're thankful that we have a bunch of young ones in the classes and teachers that are willing to lead them. And we ask that you help the young ones to have ready minds and hearts to listen to their teachers and to learn. And Lord, we ask that you teach that they are able to teach in manners that the ones that are listening can learn from it. Gain something through the class tonight to draw them closer to you. That way, as they continue to grow, that they'll have hearts prepared to obey the gospel and they come to full understanding and want to give their lives to you. God, we ask that you be with us, that you help us to always continue to set a good example to them. We ask that you help us to be with our study tonight, that we keep that open heart and ready minds to receive the truth, and to be willing to speak up to help try to strengthen one another's faith and our understanding of your word. We ask all these things in your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, continuing in Daniel chapter 1. As we continue to go through it, again, here in this first chapter and the beginning of the second chapter, I think there's certain parts in which I might say are a little easier. We'll go through easily, and not a whole lot of comments to be brought out, but certainly as we get into a couple of prophecies here in the next chapter, but some of the more stuff that you guys kind of covered in Revelation is further on in Daniel, the harder things to interpret. But we'll continue our study. So question 12 is where we're at. Judy, please start us off.
How did the Hebrew youths appear at the end of the trial period? They were better and fatter than all the others on the end.
Right. And so they continue to appear better and fatter and flesh. They continue to look better than everyone else. And so, again, this was with the mindset that Daniel had come to those in charge and asked that he not defile himself eating the king's meat, wine. And so, of course, again, if you're in charge and you need to go, well, I'm in charge, make sure you're presentable when time comes. This is what he's given you to eat, just to go get the king his order. And so it's just a short day time period, you get 10 days out of what they're supposed to be there 3 years in this education training here. And so just 10 days out of that, it wouldn't be too much, but in just 10 days, they were able to tell the difference, and so they allowed it to continue. Any thoughts, any comments on that?
And it could have been the providence of God that the man would allow him to do that. We don't know. We just don't understand how it works.
Right. Yeah. So easily that the Lord could have simply been with them and blessed them with being given a favor in the sight and allowing them to look better, to have these 10 days to continue. Absolutely. All right. Anything else? All right. So we're ready for question 13. Nisha, Judy just went. You want that? All right.
What special understanding did God give to Daniel about his associates? What special understanding did God give to Daniel about his associates?
it seems that he gave them all good understanding and wisdom, but with Daniel, he gets the ability to understand visions and dreams. And so he gained a little bit more favor or knowledge and understanding from God. And so, again, I mean, of course, we don't know how often these opportunities to interpret visions and dreams will come up, but obviously here, God has blessed Daniel because he knows that he's about to give some dreams to the king, and so it does come in use. But any thoughts and comments there? All right. So question 14.
When the Hebrew youth stood before the king at the end of 3 years of nursing, how did King Nebuchadnezzar find them? 10 times better?
Right. So, absolutely. So, among all the others, there was none like before, even to the point that they were 10 times better than all magicians and astrologers when it came to their knowledge and understanding and wisdom. And so, again, it goes to speak to how much God had blessed them and strengthened them with this wisdom and knowledge, allowing them to be wiser than the rest and just do that much better. Probably even parents also, not just with wisdom and understanding, but we see going back, they were looking better after those 10 days. And so they probably continued to do well in the parents. And so they are blessed, of course, able to serve in the king's work. So, any thoughts and comments there? Omni?
How long became the king in Babylon? The first year of King Cyrus and the year of
Right. So he continued for quite some time, able to continue in it, and just I know we kind of brought it out during our first study last Sunday, that they were taken captive during the first siege, and so he's able to serve quite a while, and even during the second siege when it's thought that Ezekiel was taken, and then continued just to serve. And so he served for quite some time for the Babylonians. Any thoughts and comments?
That's a good many years I didn't have to add up because according to this dates we got in this index, they were taken to Babylon around 605 BC, and then Cyrus took Babylon 539 BC. So we're talking about a pretty good period of time that they were there.
Right?
They grew kind of old there.
They were used when they started and spent some time, so absolutely. So, any other thoughts? So he gives us some pointers here at the end of the lesson. One was God used an idolatrous nation, Babylon, to render a judgment on his people because of the pride and idolatry. Yet God was with the righteous servants in captivity, who became the representative of the true God in the heathen empire. And so, again, I believe, as we look at this, God punishing Israel, and just by looking at these four, you can say there's four faithful men that are still serving God, and they're not even in Israel. They're not the ones that got to stay. Of course, they're prophets in Judah that's continuing to prophesy. And so they're able to continue to serve and to come and serve and preach to those who are not right in the sight of God. And so, again, God continuously giving them a heathen nation opportunity to do right in the sight of God, though. God is using them for his own use, but God could just punish Nebuchadnezzar right off the bat any time that he was doing wrong, but he's given opportunities time and again as Daniel, interprets these visions, and he has the opportunity to serve God right before bad comes upon him. But and so it's just like Nineveh, they had the opportunity to repent. And so again, to say that God showed any favoritism, even under the Old Testament, it would be incorrect. God continued to allow opportunity, and obviously he did go more further with the children of Abraham. But he continued to give everybody opportunities to do what is right. He made that covenant with Abraham. Those who blessed them would be blessed. And so everybody had the opportunity to continue to do right in the sight of God. So, any thoughts? Any comments there? Again, I like that he gave us 1 Corinthians 10:13. Daniel's in a pretty bad situation, a situation many could have given up and just say, well, I'm taken captive. I'm in a bad situation. To make best of the situation, I'm just going to switch over to the way that the Babylonians do things. I'm going to eat this food. I'm going to drink their wine. I'm going to learn their language, do their culture, whatever they do, I'll do. It's been an easy opportunity for anyone to just get in and to serve this king because you're a servant. That's all that they are. They are there to do the king's bidding. And by any kind of rebellion, they could set themselves up to be killed or thrown into prison. So they continued faithfully and was able to overcome those temptations. Also gave us Romans 8:18, which says, "For I reckon that suffering of this present time are not worthy to compare with the glory which shall be revealed in us." And so, again, as we might suffer, there's always the reward we can be looking forward to.
Brandon,
Yes, sir.
are we on Facebook? Is the Facebook on?
I started it. Is it on my page?
It's off your page,
Tell them to go. This is friends with me. It's on my page. I'm reading it in.
it's on your page.
Yeah. Sure.
Let's go up real quick.
Usually I do on my phone. It's on the members page now. It's on the members page now.
Okay.
So I didn't click it over it. Alright. Anything before we get into lesson 2, chapter 2? So, lesson 2, getting into Daniel chapter 2, one of the things I had read in one of, normally it was a commentary, another book, but that some believe that as we, even though we, at the end of chapter 1, kind of went into the point that they had appeared unto the king and that they were found sometimes better, that here in lesson 2, as this first dream vision that the king has actually took place still while they were in their training period. I don't know if there's any fact legends that you go through and say this is what shows it, but that's just one of the things that I did find in some people's thoughts about this situation here, that they went any further to say, well, does it sense at the end, after he does interpret that he gets moved up, promoted, whether or not he had finished the training since he got promoted, but that's just one of the thoughts about to bring out. They did think that this took place while he was still doing his training. To an extent, I guess that would make a little sense why he might not have been brought up the rest of the magicians and wise men if he wasn't yet one of them, because he was still holding his training. But
On the honor of this material.
in the third year while they were still in training, I guess. But it was the second year of rain, where they explained this. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Right. All right. Did you go any? No? No? You took last one, all right. Hey,
In one year, they didn't have Nebuchadnezzar drinks in trouble now. The second year was rain.
second year of rain, and it is those notes here, looking at manual 1, and 2, the ways, red here, and Nebuchadnezzar's, realms. Question?
Who was created by King Nebuchadnezzar to tell the dream and make the interpretation? Magicians, achievers, sorcerers, Chaldeans.
Right. And so, magicians, sorcerers, so you call them all in. If you click on one thing, they'll click back on the power, and it won't click. So he called all of the people that he could to come and to interpret. And so again, he didn't just call one, he didn't just call magicians, or he didn't just call astrologers, he didn't just focus on the Chaldeans or the sorcerers. It seems he's brought everybody in. Again,
To the wise men. Further on, or to the
Wise, yeah, wise.
For his wise men.
yeah, so they pulled in everyone that they could, and to do their best. We get caught up in answering more than one question and just try to pay attention to it, so we don't have to repeat answering those questions. So I know that I stand up here and want to keep on talking. I know we're going to cover more here in a minute. So, any thoughts or comments? All right. Question 3. Charlie?
How did the Chaldeans, what did the Chaldeans tell the king? Basically, you tell us your dream, we will tell you how to interpret it.
Right. And the thing is that as we would go look at other times in which it might be, it seems practical that you, hey, let me tell you the dream, you interpret. Even when it came to, we get to the New Testament, and those who had speak in tongues, they had to make sure someone was able to interpret if they're speaking in maybe the language of angels or language that no one else could understand. Then they had to have an interpreter there. So it wasn't, so they're saying, you tell us, and then we'll interpret. And so to me, it seems to be understandable. We're here to interpret dreams, not to tell dreams. We didn't have a vision ourselves. And so that's what the Chaldeans were thinking.
But they do have the incentive plan.
Yeah.
They say what
All right, question 4.
What was the penalty of the Chaldeans, if they could not tell the king the dream and make the interpretation? They would be cut into pieces and their houses turned into piles of rubble.
So it wasn't going to be a punishment that only came upon them, but it's, your houses are going to be turned into a heap of ash and a pile of rubble. It's going to be destroyed. So they were ready to, he was ready to punish them if they're, again, if you're here and you can't do your job, then you have obviously fooled me into thinking that you truly are these wise men that can guide me and interpret these dreams and visions. And so he tells them that you must be willing to answer these questions. He gives us a no. Again, it sometimes, I guess it depends on translation and how you read it. It says, many scholars hold the view that the king had not forgotten his dream, rather that he was testing the ability of his servants. If they could not tell him the dream, then he could not trust their interpretation. Some of the way it reads, somewhat reads in a way that makes it sound like he might have forgot it, but again, if he was so participant, there's obviously something within the dream that makes him want to know what it was. So he didn't fully forget it, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't be pushing so hard to have it interpreted. Yeah.
If he forgot the dream, all these magicians and sorcerers and stuff like that, they could
They said whatever they want.
yeah, they could just make something up.
Right. Yeah. So.
I personally, when I read it, at least in the English Standard, I didn't see anything about that he had forgotten.
Right.
Like, some of the other versions may read different.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I know one of the versions that I had read. I didn't write how much it was, but it made it sound like it did. That he did forget. So that's. Anyways, any other thoughts or comments there? Question 5. Joyce?
What was the reward of one who could tell the dream, the king the dream, and make the interpretation? They would be gifts and rewards of great honor.
Right. So again, great honor, rewards, gifts. He was prepared to reward the person, but if they were not able to, then he was also prepared to punish them. So they had to be ready to step in. And again, even with the interpretation, when it comes to the visions or prophecies, especially this first one, something that in the prophecy that the king himself is not going to see fulfilled, or he's not going to see it all fulfilled out, because it's speaking years later, and different kingdoms coming in place and ruling after another, and so you're still kind of somewhat putting your trust into the person that you're listening to and their interpretation of the dream. Yes.
Going back to the point Charlie was making earlier about him forgetting, the King James says the king answered and said to the Chaldeans, "The thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream with interpretation thereof, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill." So the King James does say that you've forgotten it.
And reading it that makes it sound like, but again, you have to go back and know the Hebrew writing in which it's written in, and understand that they wrote in a different way than we do, and so when they translate it, if we read the way it's written, it's not going to quite make full sense. That's why we have so many translations continuously updating the English stuff, because it's trying to make it to where the way we speak today, and in doing so, sometimes you lose the meaning behind it, while sometimes if you keep it the way it is, we lose the meaning behind it because we don't speak that way. So it's something we just got to be careful with as you use different translations, making sure we do our best to our knowledge and ability to make sure we're reading it correctly. But either way, I don't think it makes a big difference on our faith, whether he knows it or doesn't know it. There's obviously, I believe, a good case that he does know it, and to the point that, again, how would he know if they're telling the truth? He doesn't remember, but at the same time, if he didn't know, it doesn't make a difference today. So, any thoughts? All right, so question 6, Terry.
When the servants asked the king again to tell them the dream, he accused them of gaining time and charged them with preparing lies and corrupt words to speak for.
So yeah, he just ends up accusing them of trying to bring up time to lie and corrupt, and to find a way to He was tired of their explanation there, and again, I think that if the way I read it, and the way we kind of maybe look at others, it seems that, dreams take place and they're interpreted later. It's not usually that someone comes in and tells what the dream is. Also, even as we go through Daniel here, it seems that the later on he's willing to tell some of the dreams, and he doesn't have hey, tell me the dream every time. So it's just that big of a dream, though. It was disturbing to him that he needed someone, and he wanted to make sure the truth was being told. All right. Ann, number 7.
Chaldeans are perhaps the king that only the gods tell him his dream and make the interpretation.
Right. So they're at that point, that they do have wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and that if they heard it, then they'd be able to take time and to think about what it could represent and how it applies for this or that. But to actually tell the dream, who can tell what someone else dreamed? Who can stand up here and say, I know what you were dreaming last night? Now, again, there's times that we might be mad at somebody because you dreamed about it and they didn't do anything. But we can't know what's going through someone else's mind. So, again, it's why when we get to Daniel, it's known this must be a true gift from God, the true God. We have a few of those moments throughout the Bible, with Moses and the Pharaoh's wise men and magicians, that they finally came to, well, this is the hand of God. We can't even come close to trying to duplicate what he's doing now. And so we get to the point here that our God, only God can do this. And so when Daniel's able to do it, truly he serves the true God. So I know that's answers further ahead. But anyways, any thoughts and comments here? No? Kathy and Greg.
What did the king command Paul to destroy all the wise men of Babylon?
Right. And so, again, he accused them of delaying and pushing off time to lie, and so they want to rest. Only God's answer. And so he's going to fall through with what he had threatened. He said, if you guys cannot answer, then we will destroy you. And so he decides to destroy all the wise men of Babylon, which was going to include Daniel and his friends. Any thoughts and comments?
If Daniel is really concerned about it, why not call him the gorilla?
He's a pretty big king. He has lots. He probably just brought the higher ones forward. And I mean, they're considered wise men. If they were in the training, then probably they're not worth being brought in. So. All right. So question 9. Yes.
When Daniel heard the decree, what did he ask the king? He asked him, give him time in order he might tell the information to the king.
Right. So Daniel asked for some time.
Anyway.
Right. So Daniel, he in some way or manner, he probably made it sound, confident that he would be able to interpret this dream. He fully believed that God would give him the blessing and ability to know the dream and be able to interpret it. And so, he's given chances. So. Any thoughts on that? Terry?
So Daniel trying to interpret the dream, he heard what the truth, and then they went to God.
Right. Yes, number 10 here a little bit.
So that meant a whole lot.
Yeah.
So that meant a whole lot.
Right. Certainly at this time and point, he didn't just say, I know what it is. He still needed to receive it. He needed to receive it. So, absolutely. got number 10?
Yeah, Daniel is parents desire mercy from God, that they should not perish while in Babylon.
Right. So, yeah, so again, Daniel and his friends, as they pray, not just, God should give us the answer, God tell us, but, they understand their lives are on the line, the lives of all these other men are on the line, and so they pray for the mercy of God, please be merciful, let us know what it is you have given and dreamed to the king to save our life, just trying to picture what that prayer might have been, what all you have been saying as they are praying, but they pray for mercy. They pray that God is merciful to them, that they would be able to do this, that they not perish with life and God. Any thoughts, comments? If not, then we are to Acts 2.
How was the secret revealed today in a vision at night?
In addition, so he was obviously blessed with time, they prayed, and then God obviously blessed him with having the same vision, and obviously as we continue further, he's able to interpret that vision. So, any thoughts, comments? If not, thanks.
Daniel acknowledged the wisdom and power of God and his rule in verse the affairs of men. List the example of God's power named by Daniel. Having changes of times and seasons, removed kings, graces of kings, wisdom to the wise, knowledge and understanding. And then reveals deep secret and knows what's in the darkness, light dwells.
So, absolutely. So he goes on and he gives glory to God and credit to him, credit is due. As he goes into this all, he knows that God is the one that's able to deal with seasons, and he's able to remove and establish anything he desires. The wisdom he acknowledged comes from him. The secret would be these dreams and visions and interpretation of it. He knows what's out in the dark that no one else can see. So just he gives all credit and glory to God. Again, the humbleness of Daniel as he continues in all these things and trying to make no credit on himself, but glory to God. So, any thoughts and comments?
Daniel prayed for his wisdom and knowledge of God.
Again, as he continues on, and he's in front of the king as he speaks, he's giving credit to God. And
When Daniel appears to Nebuchadnezzar, he first reminded the king what had been astonished at the vision. So saying, his king could not tell him the dream or the interpretation. And then Daniel told him one who revealed secrets, who is this one, God in heaven.
God, and so, and again, it's what I know, kind of, to me, if I were writing these questions, probably just make one question out of that, instead of making two questions, the same thing, pretty close. But he again, gives credit to God, makes known, as you approach, and I don't see Daniel again standing up there to the point of bragging that these others couldn't interpret, that he had called the wise men and magicians. And so he's just making it plain and clear that there is only one. They claim gods, but he says the one God, the true God, can truly interpret. So. All right. Number 15.
The secret of the king's dream was revealed to Daniel, that the king might know what.
this mind, or thoughts of this heart, some translations might say. Again, when we talk about heart and mind, and we're speaking in the Bible, the heart is mind. That is the truth. It's just, we always go right here, I love you, and this and that. It's all about where our thoughts are, our conscience is. It's where our true heart lies in our mind. And so, but again, Daniel says these things are given to me so that you can know. You want them to know, and so they're given to me so that you will know. He's not saying these are given to me so that I can be raised up higher and higher, or to give it to me so that we can foreknow what, again, because as we look at this dream, I don't know what good it does for these people right here now that are hearing that are having the dream, to hear about it, Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar, this kingdom. To know, other than knowing that eventually my kingdom's going to fall. But so this is a dream vision that is going to be for evidence for us today, for those after this time period. It's kind of makes sense that God's given this to me just so that you can know.
Too, one thing, as far as the answer to 14, he also defines God, the God in heaven he talks about, God of my fathers, in this way of answer to God, a God in heaven, as opposed to one of their gods, because the God in heaven, so Nebuchadnezzar makes clear to that it's not one of their gods, but he was speaking about a totally different being. God in heaven. Who could do that? Yeah.
We're ready for number 16. Okay.
Describe King Solomon's dream. Great image.
Great image. He saw a great image whose splendor was excellent. Again, easy to just continue on, but broke it up into another question. Yes. Just here, if we were to stop there, great image. What's the image? What does the image mean? Is there anything else before we get into the further details about that image?
I've heard this as a great statue.
Great statue.
Which it figures we can describe the head and the arms and so on down that.
Statue would help the appearance figure out what you're talking about more than just the image. Alright. Number 17.
What metal gives 12 parts of the image? Head of fine gold, breast arm of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, feet of iron clay.
Right. So, absolutely. So it goes down, gives you the statue, the head, just a regular body. So in a different precious material that it's all made of, that as it goes down through it. Now the lesson itself doesn't really get into what they all represent, besides a small question about it. And so I'll wait till we get to that question about what they kind of represent, and we'll go into more detail on those, and who they represent. I guess would be the correct way to ask that. But unless there's any thoughts or comments on it here in 17.
Brass and bronze, same. It's
Brass and bronze, yeah,
Same thing.
I believe. There might be a slight difference. I know one translation does say bronze, another one says brass. Because after I had wrote it down, then I opened up another book, like, wait a second, I wrote something else down. So that's probably how we figured out how to go about our meddling nowadays, skills from right here and right. So if we ever started doing that, so that's why fourth place doesn't give a medal. You're like, iron's not worth out, give it out. So,
now this statue wasn't very wide to be as tall as it was.
yeah. said it was not very wide to be as tall as it was. You didn't hear that, so. All right, so we will move to question 18. Charlie.
What did the stone cut out without hands, even assistants do? But it broke the image into pieces.
Yep.
It didn't make any difference whether it was the gold or the iron clay. It seemed to break all.
Yep. Absolutely. Broke it all down and into pieces. Any other thoughts? We'll try to open this up a little more on what all this represents as we get into it. I just feel like we're going to answer other questions if we start getting into details. Which, again, it's okay to do. All right, so question 19.
All of the metals that made up the image were broken into pieces and became like chaff of the stone threshing floors, and the wind carried them away with that no trace was found for them.
So they were crushed so much, broken into pieces so much that they became like chaff, and just the wind would carry them away, and nothing found up. And so again, it's just kind of here. It's not that they were somewhat destroyed and there's a leftover. Here it's saying it will be completely destroyed, and not a thing will be found, not a trace will be found. Any thoughts or comments on that? Yep.
And I don't know when we get to it. Is the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, as it is, you know, there's not a trace of it.
Right.
You know, it fits in here. I have no idea which one it is. Hopefully it'll be the same one that we'll come up with later.
Right. So, absolutely. So. All right. Question 20.
What became of the stone that smote the image? It became a great mountain and filled up the whole earth.
Became a great mountain, you know, so where, you know, you're going down this line, you had a full statue, you had gold and silver and bronze, and so here, and then they're all broken down, but then you got this piece that hit it, you know, but the piece in itself didn't just stay there, but it became a great mountain. And so it grew and became strong, it became a mountain which cannot be moved, and so it became great. Any thoughts or comments there? All right, number 21.
Daniel thinks of Nebuchadnezzar interpretation of the dream, who is the head? The head of gold was Nebuchadnezzar.
So Nebuchadnezzar is the head of gold, which helps us understand what the rest of it's going to end up being as we answer these next couple questions. And again, so he's going to be ringing that buzzer here in a minute. So for Sunday, be prepared to actually go into detail about what all this represented, what the head and arm and belly and thighs, the gold, silver, bronze, and iron and clay all represented the piece of the mountain that come down, struck it, and became a mountain. So try to take your time and make sure you know what those represented. Sunday we'll go into more detail about that. We'll answer into question 22.
studying Revelation makes this one make more sense.
Right.
Studying this one first made Revelation make more
Right,
sense.
right, yep. Hopefully. This first one though, it's more to an extent easier because I think it's easier to follow and you see.
Yeah.
But then the others, as you continue on, you're like, all right, we're getting into a little bit more.
I think these are two good studies to go back to back.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Were you believing?
Hit the buzzer a few times.
I thought we could have done it.
Give me like 30 seconds. You guys go ahead and turn to the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. If you guys can listen to me really good for 30 to 45 seconds, I'll be done. I need you to listen really good. Proverbs chapter 3, starting verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Those last few words, and he shall direct your paths. The question I'm going to leave you guys with tonight is, are we treating our faith in God as a steering wheel, or are we treating our faith in God like a spare tire? Do we trust God to guide us through our path every day, or just when time gets tough? If there's anybody who needs guidance or support or any help from the congregation, please come forward and stand. Living below in this most sinful world, comfort I get from God's own word, striving alone to face temptation's storm. Where could I go but to the Lord? Where could I go? Oh, where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul, needing a friend to save me in the end. Where could I go but to the Lord? Neighbors are kind, I love them everyone. We get along in sweet accord. But when my soul needs manna from above, where could I go but to the Lord? Where could I go? Oh, where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul, needing a friend to save me in the end. Where could I go but to the Lord? Life here is spent with sing number one out of the supplements, all of the book, I Stand in Awe, number one. After the song, Terry will lead us in our closing prayer, and that will last minutes. Number one, I Stand in Awe. You are beautiful beyond description, too marvelous for words, too wonderful for comprehension, like nothing ever seen or heard. Who can grasp your infinite wisdom? Who can fathom the depth of your love? You are beautiful beyond description, majesty enthroned above, and I stand in awe of you. I stand in awe of you. Holy God, to whom all praise is due, I stand in awe of you.
Let's bow and pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we truly thank you for this opportunity that we've had to assemble here this evening and to once again study according to your word and sing and hymns and to thee. We pray, Father, that everything that we've said and done here this evening will be in strict accord with your will. We thank you so much, Father, for your love and for the fact that you sent your Son to this earth to live and die a sinless life, and yet he died on a cross for us instead. Be able to receive that redemption and be able to come to live with you in heaven and right. We pray, Father, you continue to be with those who are not here because of sickness, that you will give them the help that they desire to have, and that those attending to them will have the right solutions and the right medicine to help them gain their strength. We pray, Father, now that you will be with us as we leave this place, be our body, guests, our home, and bring us back next point now. Forgive us the faith in Christ and we pray. Amen. Welcome everybody tonight, and thank everybody for taking part in our Bible classes, as well as those who taught. Pastor Aaron for the invitation. Let's see. I've seen the visitors among us. If I overlooked you, I'm totally sorry. Remind everybody we'll be back here Sunday morning, 9:30 for Bible class, 10:30 for worship. Just remember those on the board that are shutting in, one prayer prayer, get your heal, and the hospital. And I think it's 9:15, still there. Don't know it's board. Also, just remember Susan, COVID and Harrison, she went and got an antibiotic shot today. Hopefully that will help her. Maybe we can get her back on the road to recovery like she needs to be. Also Joe, she's recovering from that. David Leonard with a heart cath on the 19th. Also, let's remember that Debbie Lanfear, Leanne Vaughn, Devin Dasher, Bill Langley. July the 11th through the 14th is BBS at Southside. There's also teaching spots on the board for classes for next quarter. Also, the sign sheet for Brandon out there. He's going up for some classes that needs to be filled. Mr. Charlie.
Todd's mother is in
You know, and I heard Susan said that, so I totally let it slip. You know, Susan, our Dottie's mom is in the hospital, so let's remember Dottie's mom, check out Dottie for something they're going to do as well. Also, Sunday evening, as a congregational meeting. That's all I have. I have anything else, Ms. Kathy? I said July 11th to 14th. I don't know if it says what time. It's usually 9 or 9:30, so we have to get back to you on the time. We were working that Sunday. I will find everybody's time if they take my bus. It's a team. Okay, now is everybody back your son? No, so at the 9, you're going to be a little early.
And we've had a few cases, so it's okay. It's okay.
What's cushion?
She went to the doctor. They were all like, she just got ready. She called me, she just got tickle. I know. She was